I'm coming at you from SOE Live. It's actually the end of the first day of SOE Live. I'm back in my hotel room, starting to relax a little bit, getting ready for the second day, which is going to be just chock full of keynotes. All the good information, the real meaty information, always comes on the second day in the individual keynotes, but that doesn't mean today wasn't eventful. Today was absolutely eventful. So I got hands-on time with H1Z1, and my mind could not stop thinking about H1Z1 today. It is just fun. Everything about it was a blast. Every time I would stop playing, someone else would get their turn. I would go back, talk with my friends, visit with people, devs, things like that. Immediately, I would be watching out of the corner of my eye for one of those stations to open back up again, because I wanted to try again. The game is just a blast. The feel of the game, it's fair to compare it to DayZ and games of that type, but at the same time, you can really tell they're going for a different feel of the game. The game feels more, I don't know if realistic is the word, definitely darker and a little bit grittier. When you go out, and right now you'll be seeing highlights of the footage I took of our film, and you'll have to bear with me, the angle I could do, and the only angle I could do without a direct feed, is a bit of a sideways angle of the monitor, but it gives you a general idea of what went on and some of the cool things that occurred in the few times that I got to play today. But the general feel still has that scavenging for goods. It has that survivability. You don't know what's around the next corner. Luckily, there weren't a whole lot of players playing right now, so I didn't have to worry about getting killed. That did happen once by a guy sitting right around the corner from me. But it really has that same kind of nervous, anxious feeling. And that really gets your adrenaline pumping. At the same time, the world itself has this realistic vibe to it. I guess is the best way to put it. And when you see some of the vistas and you see like the forest area and stuff like that, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. It has a very realistic vibe. The zombies look way scarier than what I remember in DayZ. I haven't played a ton of DayZ, but I will say that the zombies in this game are just really, really creepy. Now keep in mind, this game is basically pre-alpha at this point. There has been no public testing or private testing outside of SOE's offices. This is the first time we really got our hands on this game outside of like live streams and special events. So that really made it to where you gotta give them a little bit of slack when it comes to bugs and choppiness. I know I hit one zombie and he just stared at me for a little while, but you kinda expect that. It's really quick that you can see the concepts they're going for. I love the crafting system. They have what they were talking about as discovery. And the way the discover system works is when you get items, you can throw the items into this discovery window. And it's basically your character tinkering around with these items. What can I build with these items? Now, obviously when you die, just like any other survival game, your body's lootable. People are going to come, they're going to take your stuff, they get to it before you do, they're just going to scavenge you. And that's just kind of the way this genre works. The good thing is when you come back to life, when you respawn, you're going to remember all those recipes you learned. So you are still making progress. While obviously it does suck to lose your stuff, hopefully you're running in a pack and you've really made a group of people, like a community, so to say, that you can run with. Now, the crafting system is very simple. You open your inventory, you go down your list of recipes, you pick the one you want to make, you hit craft, bam, it's done. I believe I made a couple things. I made a campfire, I made some bandages, I had found some food. The scary thing in the game is that you really don't know what's around the next corner. So when you start out, I had a hatchet. I'm not sure if you're going to start with a hatchet normally, but you do start with the hatchet for this demo purpose. And I had like a flashlight and a couple of sticks. You know, pretty much nothing. And I found a crowbar on one playthrough. I found a gun with no ammo. A lot of good that does you, right? So I usually stuck with the hatchet. Now, not a big deal. A hatchet, zombies, seems like a good weapon. Until there's like 4 or 5 of them, and they're getting swipes in, or they're coming up behind you, or you didn't even see them at all. One of the deaths I had, actually the first death I had, was to a pack of wolves. I'm literally in the middle of the forest. Just took out a couple of zombies, and this pack of wolves just comes up and just demolishes me. I attempted to fight back, but there was no hope I was going to survive. So it has that realistic feeling to it, which this genre tends to have, where sometimes you're just at the dying end. Sometimes you're just at a bad situation and you're not prepared. Now, obviously, if you start the game and you meet up with some friends and you go out with the group, your chances of survival are a little better. Or at the very least, if you die, at least your friend can scavenge your stuff off of you, and you can get some of your stuff back. So if you travel in a pack, it's probably the smarter way to go, just like in DayZ. Running by yourself is pretty much suicide in these games. Now, the things that they're thinking of doing that we were getting from the people that were giving demos, I know that they're talking about doing a PvE server, nothing guaranteed yet. That's definitely something the discussion's in play for people that aren't really interested in that cutthroat PvP survival kind of concept. I think it's a good idea, because then it makes it more of a Minecraft. Now, obviously you can die in Minecraft, but it makes it more of that type of progression, where there's less of a threat, it's more controlled, you're not really player versus player, and you can go out and enjoy the world without the threat of dying. Now, obviously that's two different types of players that would want to do it on either side. I like the fact that they're exploring the option. One, because it'll be something completely different than what's on the market. It'll have that option for the player that looks at DayZ and says, I don't want to die and start over. It gives them that option. And two, it really shows that they're trying to change it up. The other thing they were talking about is having what they call the token system. Now, once again, this is just an idea that's floating around, nothing's been confirmed. But the token system was, you could purchase a token on the marketplace, I believe is how he said it would be done, and then you use that token to vote for a special rule set on a server. So they'll create a server, for example, that is double life, or running zombies, or weapons do extra damage, or no durability loss, or just a few examples of what could be. I mean, I'm sure there's tons I can't even think of. And if your idea wins, you get that token back. If not, well, you pay the token to vote, and that's the way it is. And then the good thing about it, of course, is that server's created, and you can jump in and play on that server. So I see the sky's the limit for that if they implement that, because you'll start to see ideas that even the devs didn't think about. Ideas for rule sets on these servers that almost changes the game fundamentally. And that has a lot of potential. Whenever you put the control into a larger group of brainstorming, some of the stuff that comes out of it is just gold. Obviously some of the stuff that comes out of it is ridiculous, but some of the stuff that comes out of it would be gold. That makes me very excited for what's to come for H1Z1. The things that I did confirm, which I believe were confirmed before, was durability will be a factor. Not only will it be a factor in your weapons and crafted goods, but it's also a factor on your apparel. It's also a factor on player-made housing. So if you make a fort or some defensive structures, it's very possible someone can come and just demolish it. It is a eat or be eaten world type of thing. So you kind of expect that concept. But when it comes to H1Z1, I'm sure we'll be talking about it a little more later in the convention. Once I get Xavier involved, we could do some play off of each other. He's out having a blast right now. So when he gets back, we'll talk about H1Z1 and some of the concepts that were given. And what we think about it, kind of talk through it. The other things that were talked about, a lot of foreshadowing. A lot of, we're going to talk about the EverQuest 2 expansion at the keynote tomorrow. A lot of EverQuest Next, big announcements, keynote tomorrow. EverQuest Next Landmark, combat's coming, details at the keynote tomorrow. So I'm going to be going to multiple keynotes tomorrow. For sure I'll be at the EverQuest Next one, the EverQuest 2 one, and then I'm also going to be at the H1Z1. It didn't sound like DC Universe had anything they were announcing outside of some enhancements to PvP. And for the viewers, I'm not really a PvP guy, so if there's any questions you'd like me to ask for that specific one, please drop them in the comments. I'll make sure I check that before running into any devs tomorrow. But it seems like DC Universe is really focusing on the PvP for this time around, and not really my area of expertise. But expect a lot of great stuff from EQ Next, Landmark, and H1Z1 in the next couple of days. We'll do recap videos for each day that we have some new information to share. So what excites you about H1Z1? Since I spent a majority of this time talking about it and showing H1Z1, I'm interested to see what the viewers think of the concept of H1Z1. Are you just blowing it off as another DayZ clone, or do you have the faith in SOE that they're going to do something different based off of what they've shown and what they've said so far? I'd be very interested to find out what people think, and are they excited about it as me, running out to get a t-shirt, backgrounds on the computer, just super excited. So let me know. Otherwise, what other games are you looking forward to from SOE? What are some of the big announcements you're hoping to hear? I know I was hoping to hear about Combat and Landmark. It sounds like we're going to get an announcement on that and some details, and that sounds awesome. So I'm already getting some of the hope that I'll hear what I want to hear. Obviously, we're dying to hear about EverQuest Next, and from what I found out, it sounds like it's going to be about the AI. They're going to talk more about the immersion AI and give some demos on that. So as soon as I have some details, I'll get back to you guys on that. And then they're also going to be talking about what really differentiates EverQuest Next from Landmark. Because once you hear that Landmark is going to have combat, monsters, and gear, you start to question what the difference is. Because on the surface, you thought, at least I thought, of Landmark as being the building, creating, creative mode of EverQuest Next, where EverQuest Next was the, not traditional MMO, but the MMO. It sounds like they're blurring the lines. So that was one of the things they said they're going to focus on, is really differentiating the two so you know what to expect from those two products. And that's something I'm very excited about. So hopefully I'll have some codes to give away. I've been collecting them as time goes by. I know I've got a few codes for EverQuest Next for some items, EverQuest Next Landmark for some items, and we'll figure out some way to raffle those off or run some contest in the coming days. So keep an eye open for that. While you're here, go ahead and subscribe, like this video if you liked what you saw with the H1Z1 footage, and comment anything you have to say down below. Everything helps. And if you subscribe, you'll be the first one to get the next update for SOE Live. So I will leave you with that, and I will see you guys next time.